So my name is Shivy Williams, and I am your health, wellness, and fitness accountability coach, and I help you reach your goals by holding you accountable for reaching them. So what I'm going to do right now, today, I am going to talk about BMI, weight, the number on the scale, and also body fat. I'm going to take my last year and this year and compare them to each other, and then I'm going to tell you guys what I think is the better way to track. And then you can tell me, hey, Bishop Briggs, then you guys can tell me what's better to track. You guys ready? Last year, June 21st, 2017, I went in and I had my body fat analysis done. Hey, Sierra, I don't have my glasses on, right? So this year, I went on 6/22, right? So it's just one day apart. So no big deal. So let's talk about what I did last year. Last year, my BMI was 23.9. My body fat was 21.7. Hey, Vanessa. And I weighed 141.4 pounds. All right, so this year, my BMI was 23.2, right? So my BMI went down from 23.9 to 23.2. Now, my body fat this year was 23.9. It was up this year from last year. Last year, my body fat was 21.7. And my weight this year was 137.4, down from last year of 141.4. So let's do a couple things. Let's talk about it. BMI. How does BMI get measured? BMI is measured as hip ratio to weight. Hip ratio to weight. That is the difference. So if you are athletic or you lift weights a lot, BMI is not something that you want to measure how well you're doing. And here's why. According to the BMI chart, I'm a little bit closer, right? I'm on this end closer to obesity. So you guys see how I look, right? I'm closer to obesity. So here, let's say BMI for my age range. Let's say this is the middle mark for BMI. I'm like over here. Now, with BMI, again, it's hip circumference to your weight, right? So here's the thing. If you're lifting weights, what happens is lifting weights helps you to shed body fat, right? Helps you to shed the body fat. But muscle and fat weigh the same. So if you have 5 pounds of fat here, 5 pounds of muscle, 5 pounds is 5 pounds, right? So BMI is not good for measuring if you are an athlete or you do a lot of weightlifting. So I don't pay any attention to my BMI, right? Although my BMI went down a little bit. Now let's talk about the number on the scale. So last year I was 141.4. This year I was 137.4. So 4-pound difference, right? So for me, some of you, you're like, yes, girl, you did it. You lost weight. You know, I don't pay any attention to the number on the scale, right? So if you looked at me, you wouldn't probably think I weighed 137. Last year I weighed 141. You probably didn't think I looked like 141. I've had women say, oh, you look like 130, 127. Right? So there's that. So I don't pay any attention to the weight because I actually weigh more than I look. Right? So people look at me and they think I weigh less. That's okay. Now here's what I do pay attention to, and here's what is more important to me, is the body fat. So let's talk about that. Last year, I weighed 141.4 pounds. Body fat, 21.7% body fat. This year, I weigh less, 137.4, but my body fat is 23.9. I'm almost 24% body fat this year. Now, that is what you really want to track, is your body fat percent. It tells how much fat I have on my body. So here's the thing. You can lose weight and still have a lot of body fat, right? Because weight loss also deals with muscle. So if you don't incorporate weights when you're working out, you're losing muscle. So if you do a lot of cardio, you lose muscle as well. So it's not that you're losing fat, you're losing muscle. This is why, if you know people that bodybuild, they do not do a lot of cardio. They do cardio. They don't do a lot of cardio because it eats their muscle away. And you need muscle, right? You need that muscle to be strong and a few other things. So for me, I saw this and almost fainted. I'm almost 24% body fat. Last year, I was 21.7% body fat, and I weighed more. And this year, I weighed less, and now I have more body fat. Right? So you guys want to definitely make sure you pay attention to that. So let's just talk about body fat and how you can measure that and what is the best thing for you to do for measuring. So what I do once a year, this is how I once a year, I officially, professionally go to UNC Charlotte and get my body fat analysis done. So the body fat analysis not only includes BMI, body fat, it also includes bone density, along with my RMR, which is my resting metabolic rate, and how much visceral, basic visceral fat I have. So for 2 years in a row, no visceral tissue. So that's a good thing, right? That's the fat around your organs. So I really don't have any of that. That tells you where my fat is every place else. That was this year. So same as last year. But the other thing that it does, it actually tells me where on my body I have fat, right? So like how much fat I have in my arms, how much fat is in my neck, how much fat is in my head, how much fat is in my chest, this whole region, how much is across my core, how much is in my butt, in my waist area, how much fat I carry in my legs. That's why I also like going to get officially done, because it points out those areas where I carry my fat at the most, which usually is in my thighs and in my hips is where I carry my fat the most. So I usually have the most fat in my thighs and hips. So that's the other thing. So what I got measured this year was with the DEXA. So I've done the bod pod, which is basically where you sit in this enclosed pod. Some of you who are claustrophobic probably wouldn't like that. So you sit in this enclosed pod and it does these measurements. Then the school had got the DEXA. So they used to do water like many, many years ago. They no longer do the water. So now between the DEXA and the bod pod, the DEXA is the closest to measuring your body fat percentage. The bod pod is good also. In any of the tests that you do, there's always going to be a percentage, a 1 or 2, or it could be 3, 4% off rate, right? So you can also use what's called a caliper. So during the year, I use what's called a caliper. I take my own body fat measurement. I use a caliper. It pinches your body fat. I just follow the instructions. I am usually off 1% from the DEXA, right? So usually I am down 1% from the DEXA. So that's not bad, right? Next, you also have the handheld one. So I think that's something like 3%, 3 to 4% off. And then you have the scale. So the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to measure your body fat by the scale. That's the worst thing you can do. That is usually 5 to 6% off, which usually means if it's telling you you're at 20%, you're probably at 25%. That's a big difference in body fat. So you guys, here's what my thing is. The best way to measure yourself is by body fat. You guys step off the scale. Don't measure yourself by BMI. Doctors do this, but don't measure yourself by BMI. If you lift a lot of weight, if you lift weights, you don't want to measure yourself by BMI, because that's not accurate. It is more accurate to do body fat. So again, what I said was, standing here, for me, if this is the middle of the BMI, my BMI says I'm closer to obesity. I'm not even close to the middle, and I'm not this end, right? So at 23, I think 25. Oh, after 25, you get into obesity. I'm at 23.9, right? So I'm at this end of BMI. So you guys want to make sure that when you guys are doing measurements, so you want to take your measurements, take photos, and also make sure you guys are getting your body fat test done. That's going to tell you how much fat you have So make sure you get that fat tested and see how much you have. It will also tell you how much visceral fat you have, right? How much fat is around your body organs, which is even more important than the number on the scale. So let me just tell you this. Just because you lose weight and a number on the scale goes down does not mean that you're necessarily healthy, although you may get off some medication. It doesn't tell you how much fat is around your organs and how much fat you are carrying. So make sure you guys are getting body fat tests done. You can also call a kinesiology. If you guys live in a college town, call a kinesiology department to see if they do it. There are other places that also do body fat tests, BiPod, and also the DEXA. They may cost, so you may want to spend, I think somebody told me theirs cost $30 or $50. So it's very important to get that done at least once a year to see where you stand health-wise and body fat. All right, you guys, I hope that helped a little bit with body fat, like basically the difference between BMI, the number on the scale, the weight, and body fat. Track, if you can, get your body fat test done. All right, you guys, have an awesome day. Bye.